Imagine, a podcast series by Imagine Theatre.
Hello again and welcome to episode 93 of this podcast series, and this time we're off to Scotland to meet the cast of Imagine's Kilmarnock panto, which this year is being staged in the Circus Big Top.
For more information, go to their website at www.imaginetheatre.co.uk.
In the last episode we caught up with a Welsh actor who's had success on television, in films and on the West End stage, panto veteran Andy Hockley. If you missed it, you can still check it out along with all of the other previous episodes. So far, we've had a variety of guests, from celebrities and backstage team members to practitioners and academics. We've discussed everything from specific panto titles to how pantomime is produced. And remember, you can check them all out where you normally get your podcasts from. And in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to the series so that you don't miss any future episodes. So for this episode, the plan was to take you behind the scenes in the Big Top in Kilmarnock for Imagine's production of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. However, Storm Bert stopped us from travelling north of Carlisle, and some shows had to be cancelled because of the strong winds anyway. However, I'm delighted to say that we can now meet some of the cast remotely. Starting with Andrew Agnew, who not only plays Dame Dolly Dundonald, but is also the director. How are you?
I am very well, thank you, Martin. It's nice to hear from you again.
Let's just have a chat about the actual directing first and foremost, because this is probably the first time you've ever directed a panto in a Big Top, isn't it?
Oh, it absolutely is. Yeah, I mean, it's been lovely, actually. It's had its challenges because it's very different, as you can imagine, from your proscenium arch style theatre when you're directing on that kind of stage, whereas this is in the round. So we've got audiences pretty much all the way around the stage. So trying to do anything really and make sure that everybody's got a good seat. It means that the panto needs to keep moving continuously so that everybody can see. As you know, panto's so fast pacing that you don't stand still very long anyway. So making sure that the story was told and that everybody could see what was meant to happen was a bit of a challenge. And also some people, the traditions of panto that you know as well, and obviously all your listeners know as well, that you have your downstage left for your baddie and your downstage right for the goodie, and you've got certain points that you have to hit, or just for traditions that we all like to stick to. Well, it's all out the window for this. But we've managed to keep a lot of it. There's certain bits that I've still been able to do traditionally to keep me happy and to keep some of the people that come and go, oh, that's where the baddie comes, that's where the goodie, all that as well. So yeah, it's lovely. It's been a good challenge.
Yeah, and you've got most of the panto elements, but also a new story to audiences perhaps, and you can also involve some circus elements as well. So it freshens the whole thing up a bit, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. Yeah, it really does. And we've got the Ukrainian duo called Duo Mumladze actually with us this year. They do 2 acts. I'm not going to spoil it.
No.
They do quite an impressive big one in the first act, and then a second one, which is you need to be very talented to do the one in the second act. So yeah, I mean, it's great actually. It's lovely to have the new title for me, because I've never performed in a Goldilocks before, and I know they happen and I know they're very popular, and I obviously knew some of the companies had done them previously, and was like, oh, this is definitely new for me. So it was nice kind of having to dig into the story of that and see how we could bring the story of Goldilocks to a Kilmarnock audience to make it special for us.
And you've had some challenges, and we spoke about the weather, of course, because I think one matinee had to be cancelled just because of high winds, which is obviously a health and safety issue in a circus Big Top. But you've ridden those challenges, and many of these things are new to everybody anyway. So that's part of the challenge, isn't it?
It really is. And the shame about the show that had to be cancelled was that we all came in when it was absolutely fine. We came in and the tent was there, it was all fine. And then about an hour or so before the show, there was this massive flood that happened, and the part of the backstage area was all flooded. And obviously there's wires and etc. All the stuff that needs to be there. So we had to kind of really, for people's safety, it had to be the case. Not necessarily just us backstage, but everybody. So it had to kind of be postponed. And obviously these people's tickets, they'll go elsewhere, and hopefully they'll come and have a lovely time. But you're not used to that. You're used to kind of going into your work and knowing that the show's going to go on regardless. But the people that work in the tent, actually, we've got a great bunch backstage. They've actually built us a new floor. So that actually happened whilst the show should have been on. There was a couple of guys building a new floor backstage, so that the show went on at 6:30 as normal, with a whole different kind of ground behind this, so that hopefully it won't happen again. Well, that problem won't happen again. I don't know what other problems might come up, but that one certainly won't happen again, I wouldn't think.
So tell us about your character this time, Dame Dolly Dundonald. Archetypal dame, but a totally different scenario.
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose in a certain way, I mean, it's clearly this story is about Goldilocks. I'm not saying it's about Dolly, but she runs the circus. So it's a bit more about, her problems in a way similarly to like the kind of Mother Goose style character where, she's in lots of the story as well as Goldilocks, because the circus fell on dire times, and Roger von Rickerton has been taking down posters and stealing audience members, and the circus that we work in isn't getting the bums in seats. So she has to come up with a plan, and then when Goldilocks meets the three bears in the cottage and she brings them back because they're dancing bears, and thinks it's a good idea that they should come and be the star of the circus. And so it kind of goes from there, and that's how the bears get involved with the circus. So yeah, I mean, she's lovely. She's a mammy. She's Donald's mum. Donald's the clown, and she looks after everybody. She's really everybody's mammy, to be honest. And she looks after the animals as well. We've got a couple of nice animals in the show, elephants, which appear.
So we're going to talk to Gary in a moment's time, Donald Dundonald.
Dundonald, yes.
The dynamics are there. Damon Comic, the baddie you've mentioned, Roger von Rickerton, and you've got all the elements that everybody would expect. I was wondering, Andrew, whether or not you might be walking a tightrope or doing a trapeze act yourself.
Well, I didn't want to show people up this year, so I thought I would leave it to the professionals this time, and I would keep the tightrope for another time. It would have been nice, actually. It would have been lovely to get a wee trapeze or something. I do have plenty of costumes that I could wear on a trapeze. My costumes are pretty impressive this year. I've got 12.
Wow. Well, the one thing that it strikes me from what you've said, because of the staging and because of No Proscenium Arch and all the things that you've mentioned, it would seem to me that this is much more of a sort of relationship with performers and audience without many of the trappings of a traditional theatre. Is that right?
Yeah. What's lovely is that we get out into the crowd, as you know, in a proscenium arch and stuff, when you've got nice back cloths coming in and theatre and pantomimes are famous for it, but this year we don't, because we have a circus ring, and we come out, the theatre comes right out into the audience, and also we go out into the audience as well, which is lovely. So we get to kind of go and stand amongst them and do little scenes kind of out with them, which is really nice, because where we are and when we normally are in the Palace Theatre, the stage and the audience are very separate because there's not very many ways to get down into the audience. Whereas this, I mean, they really can't get rid of us this year. We're in amongst them all the time, which is lovely. And you can see the little kids' faces as soon as you come out. They're like, oh my goodness, they're out beside us. Yeah, so it's really nice to go out and see the faces of the people that are watching the show.
Yeah, and rather like getting kids up onto the stage in a song sheet or a stooge or going down into any audience, that brings a certain amount of jeopardy as well, doesn't it? Because audiences can be unpredictable.
Oh yeah, I hope so. That's half the fun, really, isn't it? You get out there and then you meet some wonderful folk, and again we had like kids in this morning and they're running wild, and you're doing the slosh scene, and there's children running all over the place. So yeah, but they feel, I think, because we are down amongst them as well. There's points where they're running down towards the stage as if they're kind of going to jump up beside you. So, but it is nice. It's nice that they feel that they can be involved like that, So it's like they've got a new license in this tent slightly to kind of be slightly more involved.
And just finally, for those people who don't know, there are a number of theatres across the country that have had to be closed, and the Palace is one of them. Just explain the reason behind that and how long it's going to be closed for.
Oh, well, there you go. So, it's getting a fancy new refurb. So it's getting lots of nice things done to it over the next probably few years. I don't really know whether it's got an absolute time limit, but I've certainly seen the plans for it and it looks brilliant. There's a new foyer getting put in. The road at the front of the theatre is getting levelled so that everything's on the main road, and they are getting new dressing rooms. And I think because I think it's an old hemp house, so the whole fly tower is getting replaced and it's getting new modern flies getting put in. And yeah, so there's really lots of really nice things happening. So it's a big refurb and it takes quite a while. So I think rather than having no panto in Killie this year, or for the maybe next year as well, they're deciding to put it in tents and trying to kind of just make it that bit more special for everyone. And I think it's really working because a lot of people, I mean, I was talking to somebody who was saying that, coming into this, it's really just giving a new experience for the kids. And if not, maybe slightly better than going into a theatre, which people are used to doing. They're not used to also always going to the Big Top Christmas tent, so it's quite nice to get them in amongst us.
Yeah, and all credit to East Ayrshire Leisure and Imagine Theatre for bringing everybody together still, because it could have quite easily been no panto at all this year. So, all credit to them for actually making this happen. And then, of course, you've got an exciting theatre to go back to when it reopens.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think everyone's excited about just to see what the changes are going to be. But by the time that happens, we'll be quite happy in a tent. Maybe we'll just continue to do it in a tent because it's very comfy. I mean, backstage is very comfy. We've all got little kind of gazebos, dressing rooms behind in the tent still. So we're running off stage straight into a dressing room. It's nice and warm, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Listen, have a great Christmas, a great Hogmanay, and a fantastic run with Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Andrew, thank you for chatting to us.
That's my pleasure as always, Martin.
If you've never seen Goldilocks and the Three Bears as a panto, let me just fill you in on the story of this one. Because things aren't going well at all at Dundonald's Circus. Dame Dolly, the circus owner, needs a spectacular new act to try and bring in bigger audiences. But the baddie, Roger von Rickerton's circus, has the money to attract all the big breathtaking acts. Goldilocks, the circus acrobat, goes for a woodland walk between shows one day and discovers the cutest cottage in a clearing. Who could live there, she thinks? Why, they're three of everything. Has she discovered perhaps the home of the three dancing bears? Bears who are desperate to show their dancing moves to the world. Well, Goldilocks in Kilmarnock is being played by Ailsa Erskine, who not only is a panto debutante, but this is her first professional job. So Ailsa, first of all, tell us how you came to this panto.
So I'm a 2024 graduate of Bird College, a drama school down in London. So I've just graduated there in September. And I auditioned for this panto. It was my first audition with my new agent. And we came up to Glasgow to do it. And yeah, I just had a really good feeling after the audition. It was really chill. The panel were so nice, really energetic. And yeah, I was fortunate enough to book it in June of this year. And here I am, my first professional job in Pantoland, and I'm just having the best time. Everyone's so nice.
And of course, it's very different. For those who've done panto before, they will never have done a panto in a circus big top. How's it been for you?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, to begin with, there has been a few teething issues, so working for them was challenging, but it's been so rewarding having a great opening weekend, and the crowd seem to be really enjoying it, and it's been really well received. So yeah, it's been good. Not without its challenges, but it's been good, and playing to a different type of audience. I'm learning a lot every time we do a show, for sure.
In terms of the panto itself, this is a story that, not many people will have known in a panto form. And it's great to be doing a panto that isn't done, on a regular basis. And of course, it perfectly fits a big top, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's great. So the circus theme is very new and exciting, and because people will know the story of Goldilocks going into the cottage and eating the porridge, and we still have that, but we have all these new characters. We have Dame Dolly, Donald, Scott the ringmaster, Roger von Rickerton, who's our villain. So there's all these new exciting new characters, and it just adds a bit more to the story, adds a bit more stakes with the circus struggling, and it makes sense adding the bears in. And yeah, it's a good story, and it's exciting to be doing a new story that I don't think Imagine have done before. So it's really exciting for me to be, for all of us to be the first people to do it and bring it to life in the big top.
And it's perfect because it has lots of new elements, but it also has a lot of popular panto elements that make panto really work. Now, tell us a bit about you and your sort of interest in panto. Did you go to see panto as a child? Were you by any chance one of those kids who went up for a song sheet or ever in a juvenile chorus?
Yeah, so I used to go to panto a lot when I was younger. So I grew up in a town called Dunblane. Our nearest panto was in Stirling, and we'd go every Christmas. My birthday was always around Christmas as well. I'm 18th of December. So we always went on my birthday to the panto. So it's always been really special. And it's really exciting to be in one now. I mean, this is the first panto that I've been in. So it's great to like see the kids and see how excited they get. And yeah, it feels like a full circle moment almost. And I'm really fortunate to be doing this as my first thing. But yeah, no, I used to go to panto all the time, and I used to be a bit embarrassed when I used to get a shout out. Me and my twin sister, we go silent and not want anyone to know we were there. But now I'm absolutely loving being on stage and, just doing my bit. And I love playing Goldilocks. She's so much fun. And yeah, it's been a blast.
The whole fun element of panto is going to be even better on December the 18th. I assume the cast know it's your birthday on that day.
Yes, they do. Yes, so I'm looking forward to that. I mean, it's so special to be on stage. I feel very grateful, very lucky to be doing that on my 22nd birthday. So yeah, we've got a 10:30 show and a 6:30 show. So I'll be bringing some more extra special energy to Goldilocks that day.
Yeah, and with a big gap in between the shows, perfect time for a party.
Perfect time. Yeah, I think we'll go for a little Wagamamas, maybe.
Well, listen, it's a fabulous panto. I've heard amazing things about it already. And of course, you in the title role, what a great way to start your career.
I know, it's been nuts. I'm so grateful. For me, it's just so funny. I walk around Kilmarnock and I see like posters with my name and I'm like, oh my gosh, like what is going on? It's very exciting. Yeah, and I'm very lucky for sure.
Ailsa, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you so much.
Well, joining me now is Gary Morrison, who is playing Donald Dun Donald. How are you, Gary?
I'm doing really well, thank you, Martin. Really happy to be here chatting to you.
Tell us a bit about your character.
Well, my character is obviously a comedy character in the show, the comic of the show, always fun, always full of life, and hopefully makes everybody laugh.
And of course, you're no stranger to either panto or Kilmarnock, are you?
No, this is my 10th year at Kilmarnock,
Wow.
but no, I've been doing panto a long time. So as I say, this is my 10th year at Kilmarnock. I started here for 2 years as a baddie sidekick, and then I got the comic role in 2016. So I've been here ever since. So yeah, so I've done a fair few, and obviously elsewhere as well, other theatres in the area and stuff like that, and Glasgow, and obviously different places in Scotland and down in England as well. I've done quite a few down there as well. But yeah, predominantly Christmas time. I've been in Kilmarnock for 10 years now.
And you're still only 25 as well.
I know, would you believe?
What about as a child? Do you remember going to see panto as a kid?
I do, yeah. Well, my dad was a singer and an actor, so he was in a lot of shows and stuff when I was growing up. So I used to sit at the side of a lot of stages and watch the different shows and watch all the entertainers, and probably without realising, watching and learning. And then obviously when it came to the age of what I wanted to do with my future, that's kind of what I decided. My dad was Alexander Morrison. He was a singer, but I obviously decided I wanted to do acting instead. Doing panto and stuff, you're still singing and stuff like that. But yeah, no, from a young age, I used to go to a lot and see obviously Dad and then other shows as well.
And of course, despite all the pantos that you've done in the past, you've never actually done one, I'm sure, in a big top before, have you?
No, not in a big top. This is a whole new experience, but it's brilliant. I mean, obviously, you get told beforehand what it's going to be like and kind of describe what it's going to be like, but until you're there, you don't have a massive idea. But it was brilliant. It's absolutely fantastic. Lovely and warm, I hasten to add. So far, all the audiences seem to be really enjoying it, getting into it. And actually, a few have said they actually prefer it. So there you are.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at some of the photos from the show and looking at the set out of the big top, and it almost looks like for you and the dame and, the baddies, those people who have real interaction with the audience, that you're actually possibly even closer than you will be in the palace.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously it's more in the round this time. So the audience are, right in front of you. Obviously it goes quite far back as well, but yeah, they're literally in front of you. And obviously you bring certain bits forward. Some of it we bring back a little bit. So the side views can see, but you're kind of in my opening comic speech, I go side to side a little bit more, obviously because you're trying to kind of include everybody that's in the big top. But it's a great experience, a new experience. I've done theatre in the round before, so I kind of had experience of doing that. But yeah, it's something different, but at the same time, really, really cool,
Yeah, and what about Goldilocks? Have you done this particular panto before? Because this isn't done very often, is it?
No, and I think it's perfect for the big top. I've never done it before. atmosphere. And I have to admit, I hadn't seen it done previously, but in terms of doing it in the big top, it's the perfect pantomime, obviously to do with the circus and stuff. So it's absolutely fantastic. And yeah, it fits really well. A nice surprise to do it. As I say, I hadn't done it, so I'm really enjoying it.
So again, all the panto elements are there. Donald is Dame Dolly's son. They're in financial dire straits, and their circus is trying to compete with the baddie circus, Roger von Rickerton, and that's basically the premise of the story, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. They're kind of up against it. They're desperately trying their best to make it a success, but as you say, in good old panto fashion, the comic and the dame are a bit down on their luck, but eventually the good overcomes the bad, and we end up doing okay. And obviously Roger becomes helps us, and it becomes a goodie in the end, so it's good.
And what do you love about panto then, finally, Gary? What keeps you coming back year after year?
I love, just the audiences. Obviously, I grew up seeing it and watching it, and I loved watching it, and now I love it just doing it. The experience of doing it every year, working with the team. Obviously, each year we have a kind of core company that come back. We've also got new people added, and it's just a right good, fresh, exciting time every year. We have loads of fun, but I just love hearing all the audiences get out, saying, maybe quoting some of either the songs or quoting some of the sayings in the show. People leave in a really, really good mood. So, I mean, what better feeling than sending people off on their way, singing and, having a laugh and having a giggle as they leave the theatre. That's what, for me, theatre's all about, making people happy, taking them on a journey. And as I say, making them happy at the end.
Well, the reaction and the reviews have been incredible so far. Have a fantastic run, a great Christmas and Hogmanay. And Gary, thank you for talking to us.
Oh, no problem at all, Martin. Thank you for having me on.
Well, Craig McDougall is playing Scott the ringmaster. Craig, how are you, first of all?
I'm very good. We've just finished our first schools performance there, and the atmosphere was absolutely amazing with all the kids. I think they thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, we're on a buzz just now.
Yeah, and the school shows are a totally different beast, aren't they, to any other adult audience? And the kids really throw themselves into it. What was the atmosphere like with a kids show in a big top?
I think it was actually louder than it's ever been in a theatre because of the space. It was some noise coming from them. I think they've all lost their voices. They'll go back to school and won't be able to talk. But it was just great. I mean, it's such a great atmosphere, and it just carries you. You can just ride the energy all the way through. So it's fantastic. I love the kids' shows.
How did you come to panto in the first place then, Craig?
I graduated college and I started panto in 2017 in Dunfermline. And in 2019, I joined the Imagine team. And it's just been brilliant. So I've done the last 4 or 5 pantos up here in Kilmarnock. And it's just such a great family we've got up here. Everyone gets on, and the shows have just been fantastic. I've absolutely loved my time here.
Do you remember going to see panto as a kid? Was it always an ambition to perform in pantos?
Yeah, I do remember going. It was my gran used to take us to the King's Panto in Glasgow. I remember that. And probably not at the time I was thinking, oh, I'd love to be doing that. But I just remember enjoying them so much and just having such a good laugh and having that great kind of Christmas spirit about it. It was brilliant. So yeah, I don't think there was anything at that age that thought, oh, I want to be doing that. I just remember loving them so much.
Now, we've already met Goldilocks and heard about Dame Dolly and Donald Dundonald and their roles in this. Obviously, there are 2 camps, really, 2 circuses competing with each other. Where does Scott the ringmaster fit into all this?
So Scott is the ringmaster for the Dundonald Circus. So Dolly's employed him to kind of be the ringleader and introduce all the fantastic acts. And Roger von Rickerton is in the other circus trying to destroy our reputation. So Scott has to try his best to just kind of keep spirits up and make sure no one's feeling down and just round up the troops kind of. So it's been fun playing it. It's a totally different character to usually playing the prince and things like that. So it's been a really nice change this year.
And as we've mentioned previously, the panto elements are all in there, but it's a new story to a lot of audiences, and there's an opportunity to involve lots of panto and circus elements as well, isn't there?
Yeah, well, I think that's the great thing about this year. I'd never actually I've heard of Goldilocks, but I hadn't seen the panto before, so it's actually been really exciting discovering a new story. And you do kind of think, how are the panto elements going to fit in this tent? But they work perfectly, if not better. I think we can involve the audience so much more in this space really make them feel involved. And of course, having Gio Mumladze, the professional circus act, it really just lifts it and gives it something, extra special this year.
Yeah, and it's great fun anyway, isn't it, to do something completely new, because a lot of pantomimes come round really quickly. So for performers, it's nice to have a new challenge, isn't it?
Well, that's it. I think if you're doing panto for many years, you do start to do the same shows that you've done before and things like that. So something new has been so refreshing, and it's been really exciting to learn it, to perform in it. And I think not just the story, but the reactions from the audience. This is all brand new for us, for people that haven't performed in a big top. But the feedback's been brilliant. I think the audiences have been absolutely loving it. Someone had said that they prefer it than the theatre. So, it's incredible. I wasn't expecting that, and it's been a lovely wee surprise.
And Craig, finally, for those English listeners to the podcast, or Welsh for that matter, over Christmas and New Year, when is the biggest atmosphere at a panto? Traditionally in this country, in England, maybe people tend to go Boxing Day, and that's a big sort of celebration. Yep. Is it around Hogmanay for you guys?
Yeah, Hogmanay is massive up here. This show doesn't have a Hogmanay performance up in Kilmarnock, but I know from other shows that it's such a buzz. People go to see the panto, before celebrating the bells, as we call it, up here. So I think the closest we have is Christmas Eve, and that atmosphere is everyone's excited. Everyone's just looking forward to Christmas Day, and they're getting a panto, so the kids are excited, and I think it takes away all the stress from parents as well over that Christmas period. It's a lovely time to enjoy with their kids. So I would say Christmas Eve's our big one, and for the shows that are on Hogmanay, that would top it.
And of course, this year, December the 18th is a big year because it's Ailsa's birthday. I'm sure you're going to celebrate, aren't you?
Oh, we're celebrating all right. We've got everything booked. Don't tell her, but I still need to get her a present. I need to squeeze that in at some point. But yeah, that'll be a great day.
Craig, have a great Christmas, a great Hogmanay, and a great run in Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And thanks for talking to us.
Oh, thank you, Martin. It's been a pleasure. Thanks so much.
And that's it for now. Don't forget to subscribe through your favourite podcast platform, and make sure you check out the previous episodes, including episode 63, which features a longer chat with Andrew Agnew. Meanwhile, Andrew, Ailsa, Gary and Craig are appearing in Goldilocks and the Three Bears in the Kilmarnock Big Top at the Ayrshire Athletics Arena until Sunday the 29th of December. Next time, as we continue through Advent, for the final episode of 2024, I'll be cutting to the chase and chatting to a vixen, the quiz show chaser and television personality Jenny Ryan. So join me, Martin Ballard, next time for episode 94.
Thank you for listening to the latest edition of Just Imagine, the podcast series from Imagine Theatre. And you can find out more by going to www.imaginetheatre.co.uk.